This has been another edition of Teacher M's Presents Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, also known as the Global Goals, were adopted by all United Nations member states in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals are integrated, that is, they recognize the action in one area will affect outcomes in others, and that development must balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. Our planet is gifted with rich biological diversity. Let's choose which among the 17 SDGs cater to the biodiversity issues of our planet. So, what is biodiversity? Biodiversity is the number, variety, and genetic variation of different organisms found within a specified geographic region. The 17 SDGs, I believe that there are three goals that cater to biodiversity. The first one is goal number 13, that is climate action. Goal number 14, life below water. And goal number 15, life on land. So let's discuss each one of them. Goal number 13 is all about climate action. To take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts by regulating emissions and promoting developments in renewable energy. Here are some of the facts and figures about our current global climate, because as we all know, data-driven solutions are great in the war against climate change. As of 2017, humans are estimated to have caused approximately 1 degree Celsius of global warming above pre-industrial levels. Sea levels have risen by about 20 centimeters since 1880 and are projected to rise another 30 to 122 centimeters by 2100. The limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius global net carbon dioxide emissions must drop by 45% between 2010 and 2030 and reach net zero around 2050. Climate pledges under the Paris Agreement cover only 1/3 of the emissions reductions needed to keep the world below 2 degrees Celsius. Bold climate action could trigger at least $26 trillion in economic benefits by 2030. The energy sector alone will create around 18 million more jobs by 2030, focused specifically on sustainable energy. The link between climate change and biodiversity has long been established, although throughout Earth's history, the climate has always changed with ecosystems and species coming and going. Rapid climate change affects ecosystems and species' ability to adapt and contributing to biodiversity loss. Climate change is a broad issue, and many of the facts related to it are interconnected. What represents environmental negative cascading effects that might happen if society does not change its pathways quickly. Goal number 14 is life below water. Conserve and sustainably use the ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. Here are the facts and figures about our bodies of water. The ocean covers 3/4 of the Earth's surface and represents 99% of the living space on the planet by volume. The ocean contains nearly 200,000 identified species, but actual numbers may lie in the millions. As much as 40% of the ocean is heavily affected by pollution, depleted fisheries, loss of coastal habitats, and other human activities. The ocean absorbs about 30% of carbon dioxide produced by humans, buffering the impacts of global warming. More than 3 billion people depend on marine and coastal biodiversity for their livelihoods. The market value of marine and coastal resources and industries is estimated at $3 trillion per year. Goal number 15, which is life on land. To protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. Some facts and figures about our terrestrial ecosystems. Around 1.6 billion people depend on forests for their livelihoods. Forests are home to more than 80% of all terrestrial species of animals, plants, and insects. 2.6 billion people depend directly on agriculture for a living. Nature-based climate solutions can contribute about 1/3 of carbon dioxide reductions by 2030. The value of ecosystems to human livelihoods and well-being is $125 trillion per year. Mountain regions provide 60 to 80% of the Earth's fresh water. The bigger the rate we lose biodiversity, the faster drastic global environmental events will happen. Such problem will dedicate our survival and life quality. We have to act. The sooner, the better. The world needs to recognize that loss of biodiversity and human-induced climate change are not only environmental issues, but development, economic, social, security, equity, and moral issues as well. So here's the UN proposal. 1/3 of all lands and oceans worldwide should become protected areas before the end of the decade in order to reverse the rapid loss of species around the globe. By stabilizing the planet's vulnerable biodiversity by 2030, the proposal aims to ensure that by 2050, the shared vision of living in harmony with nature is fulfilled. The future of humanity depends on action now. If we do not act, our children and all future generations will never forgive us. This has been Teacher Hams, leaving you with a saying that our collective effort can help save our dear planet. Thanks for watching. Why don't you give this channel some love? Don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on the bell notification, share, and comment down below.